Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Arizona.
Ready to close out the homestand with a Sunday sweep. Diamondbacks baseball is brought to you by Sanderson Ford. D-backs have already clinched their second straight series win, and now a chance to take all three from Miami. It's the D-backs and the Marlins on Fox Sports Arizona. Good afternoon from Chase Field. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthew, Bob Renly along the way as the D-backs go for the three-game sweep of the Marlins. They tied a franchise record with 6 home runs here Friday, 2 more last night. Bob, this has become the home run homestand.
Yeah, 14 bombs combined for the Diamondbacks offense in the 5 games of this homestand so far, and everybody's been contributing to the mix, especially the cleanup hitters. 4 straight games, the cleanup hitter for the Diamondbacks has gone deep. Daniel Descalso, John Ryan Murphy twice, and David Peralta yesterday.
And Descalso and Murphy both in the starting lineup tonight. The homestand began with a Matt Cook Memorial Day win over the Reds, and it closes with Matt on the mound today against the Marlins.
Yeah, Matt Cook has had a real schizophrenic last couple of starts. He won his last start against the Reds 12-5. He gave up 11 hits and 5 runs in 5 innings in that game, and he lost the game before that to Milwaukee when he went 5 1/3, gave up only 1 run, got beat 1-0.
Matt Cook versus Dan Straley, the D-backs and the Marlins on Fox Sports Arizona.
D-backs baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. By BJ's Restaurant and Brewhouse. Visit bjsrestaurants.com to find a location near you. And by your Valley Honda dealer, where you'll get more standard features for less money.
brought to you by Jack in the Box. This season, D-backs home runs score free jumbo jacks only at Jack in the Box. And by Gila River Hotels and Casinos. The card now earns you even more rewards 10 times faster than ever before. Sign up for the card today. Inside Chase Field, D-backs baseball brought to you by Sanderson Ford as they go for the 3-game sweep of the Miami Marlins before a trip to San Francisco and Los Angeles. And before we get started today, here is the voice of Chase Field, Mr. Chuck Drago.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask that you please rise and please remove your hats. Please direct your attention to the field as we honor the United States of America and pay tribute to our veterans, active duty, and retired men and women of our armed services. Presenting our colors, please welcome, from the Gila River Indian community, the Ira Hayes American Legion Post number 84. The Arizona Diamondbacks and the Miami Marlins invite you to join in the singing of the Star-Spangled Banner, performed by Kahara Hodges from the Dene and Navajo tribes and recent Arizona State University graduate.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
D-backs honoring all the participants in our intertribal youth baseball and softball tournament before the game today. It's hot outside, roof is closed, nice and comfortable inside Chase Field. Welcome to the broadcast, Steve Berthiaume, Bob Renly, Kate Longworth along the way, Oscar Soria and Rodrigo Lopez with our Spanish language broadcast on Fox Sports Arizona Plus, as the D-backs, who've already clinched their second straight series win, look for their first sweep of the Marlins at Chase Field since 2007. And here's the starting lineup for Don Mattingly's ball club, presented by your Valley Chevy dealers.
Second baseman Starlin Castro will once again lead it off for the Marlins today. JT Realmuto doing the catching. Justin Bohr down at first base. Brian Anderson moves into third base today with Derek Dietrich in left field. Cameron Maybin over in right. Miguel Rojas at shortstop. Lewis Brinson getting the start in center field. And right-hander Dan Straley on the mound for the Fish.
D-backs have a right-hander out there as well. Your Ram Truck starter is Matt Cook, 3-3 with a 4.31 ERA. Matt making his 9th start this year. He opened the homestand with a win over the Reds here on Memorial Day.
That was a very odd game for Matt Cook. He's pitched so well this season since being inserted into the rotation, but he went 5 innings, gave up 11 hits and 5 runs, only didn't strike out a batter. He walked 1, but came away with a victory. His offense put 12 runs on the board.
E.D. Marshall Jewelers has a look around the diamond at the D-backs defense.
David Peralta with a big homer in the game yesterday. He'll be in left field. Gerard Dyson in center. Chris Owings over in right field. It'll be Jake Lamb and Nick Ahmed on the left side of the infield. Daniel Descalso and Paul Goldschmidt on the right side. Ryan Murphy back behind the plate today for right-hander Matt Cook.
Tom Woodring has the plate for the umpires, calling the balls and strikes. Will Little at first base. The crew chief, Ted Barrett, there he is at second.
And Kerwin Danley is our third base umpire this afternoon. Time, Bob, for your Valley Honda dealers key to the game.
Well, you know, historically, partner, if the Diamondbacks win the first 2 games of the series, usually we just go with sweep.
Yes.
But we've been sticking with the theme here, having some fun with the pitcher's name, so we're going to cook the fish today.
D-backs 3 over 500, leading the NL West by a half game over Colorado. The Rockies have lost 3 in a row, but right now they lead the Dodgers 6-1 in the early going at Coors Field. Starlin Castro leads it off here for Miami. Fastball's a strike and we're underway. Castro doubled twice and scored a run last night. He's got 3 hits in the series. Looked to be just about in the same spot, but that's ball 1. It will be interesting to watch Matt Cook with Tom Woodring behind the plate today. Woodring has a very small strike zone. Over the last 5 seasons, in fact, the smallest strike zone in the majors. He usually does not give you the call low and in, low and away if the pitch is just off the plate, like the one we saw previously. Now Matt's ahead 1-2. Look out. That one is by Descalso and into center. A leadoff single for Castro. He's now hit safely in 6 straight games.
You know, we talked about Starlin Castro in game 1 of this series, how he can occasionally lose his focus, especially on defense, but he is hyper focused when he's at that plate. Man, can he hit.
He's going to end up with a whole lot of hits when it's all said and done. Got an early start. The catcher once again, day game after a night game, JT Realmuto, 309 and 6 homers. Castro does have 2 stolen bases this year, but he's usually not running. In the hole, tricky play for Ahmed. They get 1. Nice job there by Descalso to collect that one on the short hop, and they get the force on Castro.
Boy, as the middle infielder receiving the throw on a play like that, you have to anticipate it's not going to be right on your chest. Nick running away from his target, throwing back across his body. Looked like he didn't have a great grip on the ball, but still 1 hops it to Descalso in time for the force at second.
So 1 out now, and here's the big first baseman Justin Bour, leading the Marlins with 10 home runs. Fastball is right there. Bour has singled twice and walked in the series. There's the changeup. That's been an effective pitch for Matt Cook.
Especially against those lefties, it gives him a weapon that moves away from the left-handed hitter and off speed enough to get him out in front.
Now you see where Jake Lamb is with 2 strikes on Bour. Third baseman way over near the right field line. That one's fouled away. Matt Cook has had a fair amount of success spotting his fastball, mixing in the breaking ball and the changeup like we saw a moment ago. The pitch that has not worked for Matt lately is that cut fastball. That cutter has been getting hit pretty hard the last couple of starts. So we'll keep an eye on that here today. 0-2 on Bour. Reaches out and pokes that changeup down the line, and it's just foul.
It's odd how one pitcher in the rotation will struggle with a particular pitch. As you mentioned, Matt Cook struggling a little bit with the cutter, and Clay Buchholz, another pitcher in the rotation, was dazzling with his cutter the other night.
And talking with Torey Lovullo this morning, Torey was telling us that when Matt gets in trouble, it's when he's elevating that fastball and cutter combo. So it's really important for him to keep those 2 pitches down in the zone here today. And And whatever Clay Buchholz has been serving up, let's have a whole lot more of it. He has been tremendous. We'll see Buchholz Wednesday in the series finale at San Francisco. Got his first D-back win here the other night. That changeup sailed on Matt Cook, and it's 1-2.
This is kind of an odd pattern that's developed in this homestand. This is the 4th game of the 6 we've played here at home where the leadoff batter reached base, but only one came around to score.
Coming inside here. Little dribbler into the shift. Lamb goes to second. Ahmed tries to turn it. And they get the double play. Well, that was slow developing to say the least, but Matt Cook gets the double play ball to win the top of the first.
Gave up 5 runs in that game in 5 2/3. That's after 2 very effective starts for the Marlins. Fastball, slider, changeup combination from the right-hander.
D-backs have hit 14 home runs in the first 5 games of this homestand as we play today's finale. Here's their lineup, brought to you by your Valley Chevy dealers.
Yeah, he hit cleanup a few days ago, but he's leading off today. Daniel Descalso at second base, Paul Goldschmidt at first base, Jake Lamb down at third, Ryan Murphy cleaning up today doing the catching. David Peralta out in left field with Chris Owings in right, Nick Ahmed at short, Gerard Dyson in center, and Matt Cook on the mound.
Descalso leads it off. 261 and 7 homers. He was in the leadoff spot for the series opener Friday night here when the D-backs beat the Marlins 9-1. Fastball is up. It's 1-0.
Yeah, Straley, not a lot of velocity on his heater, just around 90, a little below, a little above. Has to command it out of the strike zone. You see more changeups to the left-handed hitters, more sliders to the right-handed hitters.
That slider has been a pitch that's got him in trouble lately. Not nearly as effective for him as it was last year. That was it right there. Swing and a miss, and it's 1-2. Descalso homeward walked and scored twice in Friday's game here. Had the night off last night. Goldie back in the 2-hole for Torey Lovullo today. He homered in his first at bat last night. Well, just dropped that slider in there. Caught Descalso looking. A look around the diamond at the Miami defense is presented by E.D. Marshall Jewelers.
Veteran Cameron Maybin getting the start in right field today. Lewis Brinson out in center. Derek Dietrich once again in left field. It'll be Brian Anderson at third. Miguel Rojas at short. Starlin Castro at second base. Big Justin Bohr down at first with JT Realmuto doing the catching for right-hander Dan Straley.
Goldie, a couple of hits in the series. He homered on his bobblehead night last night, his 8th of the year. Fastball misses up, and it's 2-0.
In this series against the Marlins, in innings 1, 2, and 3, the Diamondbacks have scored 10 runs on 9 hits, including 5 homers.
Shock and awe. Yeah, the D-backs in the first 2 games have scored 1 run in the first, 2 in the second, and 2 in the third, both Friday and Saturday. Straley working quickly here, back even 2-2 on Goldie. Jake Lamb on deck. A mile up in the air to short left. Rojas is out there to collect that one. 2 down.
Didn't miss that one by much. It's straight up in the air to the left side, right on the barrel. Just got under it a little bit.
Jake Lamb, 232 and 2 homers. He homered here Friday. Jake, another guy who got last night off. Marlins will put the shift on against him. First pitch fastball fouled away. Brian Anderson, who we've seen in the outfield in this series, is back at third. He'll trade places with Rojas, who's playing shortstop today. How effective Dan Straley is at commanding that slider will be a big key for the game today. Threw a good one to Descalso to get a strikeout to start this half inning, but he's fallen behind on Lamb. 3-1. John Ryan Murphy, the cleanup man, on deck. He's homered in 3 straight games. Dodgers coming back in Colorado. Rockies now lead at 6-4. They're in the third. Alex Wood versus Chad Bettis today at Denver. Straley loses Lamb, and here comes John Ryan. John Ryan Murphy, it's been fun to watch. He has been a one-man wrecking crew. In his last 5 starts, he's got 4 homers and 7 RBIs. And a pair of hits in Friday's series opener, including his 3rd straight game with a home run. He's got Lamb at first and 2 outs.
It's a 3-way tie atop the National League catchers for most home runs. Yasmani Grandal with 196 plate appearances. He's hit 8 home runs. Francisco Cervelli from the Pirates in 175 plate appearances has hit 8 home runs. And John Ryan Murphy in only 83 plate appearances has hit 8 home runs.
Much more efficient. Moore throws over to first with Jake Lamb, the speedster. Fastball is high.
Jake just looks very aerodynamic over there. Every team picks when Jake Lamb gets on base.
Must have been in his 1st or 2nd game of the big leagues he stole a base, and that scouting report has been floating around ever since. There it is. And I mean, it is amazing. There's the slider well off the plate. 2-1.
John Ryan Murphy has homered in 5 of his last 7 games. Got under this one. Rojas at shortstop. Straley strands the 2-out walk. No score. The D-backs and the Marlins.
John Ryan Murphy once again behind the dish, and it's hard to not go with the hot bat. After all, he's averaging a home run in just under every 10 at-bats. But Tori, very complimentary of his catcher and what he's seen from him on offense. He said he put in a lot of hard work in the spring. It's paying off. He's very deserving as he's on this impressive run. But he said don't let that discredit his defense. After all, he said that's what first caught his attention, saying that he's quite the student of the game. Murphy always has a scouting report in his hand, very communicative with this pitching staff. He said he likes how he goes out there, takes control of the game, really keeps his pitchers prepared, confident out there. And guys, hey, if it's working on defense and offense, yeah, you're going to ride that.
Absolutely, Kate. The home runs have been a nice bonus, but defense and running the game will always be the priority for the catching position here in this franchise. Brian Anderson, the cleanup man, leads off the second against Matt Cook. We saw Anderson in the outfield in the first 2 games of this series. He's back at third base today, where he played for just about the whole first month of the season. Don Mattingly moving some pieces around in the series finale.
Anderson went hitless in game 1 of this series. 2 for 3 with a walk and an RBI in the ball game last night.
And an RBI triple. It's one pretty deep center field for Dyson. He'll play it off the wall. Anderson digging for second. He's in there with a double. Well, Brian Anderson leading all major league rookies in hits. He's had an impressive season.
He's had an impressive series, showing a real quick bat. Nice timing there. Waited on that breaking ball. Got down low in the zone, and he golfed it out there to center field about 3/4 of the way up the padded wall out there.
He might be their all-star this year. Derek Dietrich, 270 and 6 home runs. Dietrich 0 for 4 with a pair of strikeouts last night. He had 3 hits in Friday's series opener. On the ground to second. Descalso gets over there. Dietrich hits it to the right side, so Anderson's able to advance to third. 1 out. Brings up Cameron Maybin, who's in right field today.
Maybin hitting .239. Trying to keep that cutter down.
I was going to just say a kind of a hybrid defense here for the Diamondbacks. They're not all the way in to cut off the run at home plate, but they're not all the way back either. They're kind of playing right in the middle. A hard hit ball, they'll check the runner at third, get the out at first. On a softly hit ball, they may come home.
And Matt Cook, of course, as we've seen, is not a strikeout pitcher per se. He's more of a pitch to contact type guy. Keeps pulling that cutter, trying to keep it down, tailing out of the zone away from the right-hand batter. And he's fallen behind 2 balls and 1 strike.
Boy, for Matt Cook this season, he's really done well in these situations with runners in scoring position. The opponent's only hitting .174 against Cook.
Hard to third, backhanded by Lamb. Anderson has to stay put. Good job there by Matt Cook. And now with 2 outs, the infield will back off for Miguel Rojas. Rojas' single last night, is only hit in the series. .251 with 7 homers this year. He's got Anderson at third and 2 outs. First pitch curveball, drops it in for a strike. We saw Rojas as the Marlins' third baseman in the first 2 games of this series. He is back at shortstop today. He was their opening day shortstop. In fact, started 45 games at short prior to this series. And a tough run for Don Mattingly. His ball club has lost 5 in a row. They're 18 under 500. Last place in the NL East.
Well, even when you know going into a season that it's going to be a rebuilding year and some of your veterans have been traded or left to go play elsewhere, it doesn't soften the blow when you have to sit in that dugout and watch it every night.
I bet. Been a tough trip. They are on a 10-gamer right now. They lost 3 of 4 in San Diego. They're on the verge of getting swept here, and then they finish with 3 games in St. Louis, where Michael Wacha just lost a no-hitter in the 9th inning. Pirates' Colin Moran had a single to break up the Waka Waka no-no in the 9th at Busch Stadium. Cardinals have a 5-0 lead. Lewis Brinson, who homered here last night, is on deck. Cook trying to strand that runner at third. Breaking ball got away from him, and now it's full 3-2. Swing and a miss. Kept that cutter down, and it worked out. Good job to strand that leadoff double. Still no score.
You're going to have to stay with me with this one. It goes on for a little while. General Manager John McHale of the Montreal Expos signed their first-round draft pick Terry Francona for $100,000 back in 1980 on this day.
That seems fairly cut and dried. I'm not sure where the rest of it is.
Well, back in 1958, when John McHale was then the general manager of the Detroit Tigers, he refused to give Tito Francona a $1,000 raise to help support his budding family. He had just had a son named Terry. Did not get the $1,000 raise in 1958, but Terry took care of that in 1980.
And ever since. Wow, that was you weaved a whole narrative there.
I like that.
Spanning generations, how the game has changed over the years.
That
was how it worked. You used to have to go in there, no agent or anything, and fight for, you know, an extra $100 here or there.
Well, especially at the minor league level. I mean, you would literally get into arguments, near physical fistfights with the general manager in the minor leagues over $50 extra a month.
Now you go to arbitration, there's 16 lawyers in there and a bunch of stat guys. Fastball misses in on David Peralta, and it's full 3-2. How did you negotiate all your lucrative contracts?
I took care of some of them myself, but eventually I had to hire an agent. Because I wasn't good going in there and having people tell me I wasn't good enough for that kind of money, you know, and that it gets very contentious, as you can imagine.
I bet.
So I just decided to detach myself and let somebody else take care of that. Somebody who was well versed in the legalities.
Then the money started pouring in.
Just pouring in.
3-2. Jam shot flare out to Dietrich. Here's Chris Owings. That's Patrick, our kidcaster today, with Chuck Drago, the voice of Chase Field. CO in right field, 187. He's got 3 homers. Came up in his first at bat last night and dropped down a bunt single for a base hit. There's that slow slider. That's the high fastball. CO swung right through it. That's normally his pitch. That's why they liked him in there today over Brito in right field. Even though Brito's a left-hand batter, CO gets another one. Can't lay off that one. As you like to say, a little higher than high.
A little higher than high. If you got a guy that likes to swing at high fastballs, just try to scoot it up a little higher than he can handle.
Well, they have all kinds of analytics that like the matchup here. CO versus Straley. You thought maybe Brito would get to the start today, the left-hand batter, but they go with Owings. And CO hits one in the air, deep center field. It backs up Brinson to the track. But it's allowed, out number 2.
There's Randy Johnson in the house today. On this day back in 2008, the big unit struck out Mike Cameron against the Brewers for his 4,673rd career strikeout, passing Roger Clemens for second all time.
Cam Boogie. We have to have it under a Throwback Thursday game so we can get the big unit back in the booth, do a few innings with us. Here's Nick Ahmed. Chases that high heater. That's the pitch that the D-backs have been laying off lately. Well, we just saw, and that's something that Torrey was telling us this morning. The difference lately has been they're not chasing those high fastballs like we just saw Nick do. They've been a little more patient lately, and that's been a big part of the success. We talked about the home runs on this homestand. And when things went south in May for Dave Magadan's hitters, it was a case, they believe, of everybody trying to cover every quadrant of the strike zone. You can't do that. Look in your spot and attack the pitches that you can hit. That's hard to short, but right to Rojas. And Straley works a 1-2-3 second. No score. The D-backs and the Marlins at Chase Field. D-backs and the Mets, a 1 o'clock game. First 15,000 dads will take home this D-backs Hawaiian shirt courtesy of Tyson Foods. Get your tickets at dbacks.com. Dad, that is a darn good looking shirt right there.
Yeah, some dads got them a little bit early, but yeah, this is nice, Dad. You want to get out here? Check this out. Man.
I think you can pull that off. You may need to wear that on the plane to San Francisco today.
I might wear it the entire road trip.
Lewis Brinson, the center fielder, leads off the Miami third against Matt Cook. First 15,000 dads get the D-backs Hawaiian shirt coming up. D-backs and Mets, 1 o'clock start on Father's Day. dbacks.com/dad for your tickets and make sure you get your shirt. Brinson homered as a pinch hitter in the 9th inning last night. He singled and walked in Friday's opener. Didn't go, says Will Little, and it's 2-1.
Yeah, partner, there was a this day in baseball history yesterday that kind of came and went. It was such an exciting ball game. I couldn't wedge it in there, but I think you'll have particular interest in this one.
Uh-oh. This sounds like your staff has been hard at work.
That'd be a change.
True.
On yesterday's date in 1995, the Expos drafted a 17-year-old catcher in the 18th round, and he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Can you name him?
A Hall of Famer as a catcher?
I just said he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Swing and a miss. There's the breaking ball for Matt Cook, his second strikeout. 1995.
Yep.
The Expos drafted a young catcher.
17-year-old in the 18th round.
I'm trying to think of who's going in this year.
This guy's a slam dunk Hall of Famer.
Here's Dan Straley. Why would I get that? Tom Brady?
Yes. Tommy.
That's a great piece of trivia. I did not know he was actually drafted by the Expos. Wow.
There you go.
I don't want Tommy catching. I want him to stay healthy. Don't put the tools of ignorance on. Of course, now he's wearing those weird suits that Giselle's got him wearing.
Can you really get hurt any worse out here on a baseball field than he faces every Sunday?
Well, year to year, it's always different.
Yeah.
Depending on the left tackle situation. Oh, Matt Cook, 3 consecutive strikeouts. So what might have happened if Tom Brady had pursued a catching career? Would he have been a good catcher?
Well, quick release, short arm stroke. Yeah, I think, quite possibly he could have been. I don't know if he could hit or not. I'm not sure about his framing ability.
Castro singled to lead off the ball game. Of course, he made that, well, some might call it a foolish decision to attend the University of Michigan instead. Along with our producer, Brad the Big Dog Weimer, Brian Moss, a couple of Wolverines in there in the truck.
When you can't get into Ohio University and Emerson, you've got to
have a fallback
go down your
school,
list.
Right?
Yeah,
just a safety school. There was some question in Foxborough as to whether Tommy Brady was going to come back and play this year. They weren't sure. OTAs and all that stuff. Tap to shortstop, Nick Ahmed. Oh, Matt Cook has got it rolling. He's retired 6 in a row since the Anderson double. No score, D-backs and Marlins.
3rd as the Diamondbacks host Native American Recognition Day presented by Gila River Hotels and Casinos. And I am joined by Governor Stephen Lewis of the Gila River Indian community. First, thanks for joining us right here. And I know it's been an exciting week as it's been the 20th annual Native American Youth Baseball and Softball Tournament. What has it meant for you and the community to be teaming up with the Diamondbacks the past 20 years in this partnership?
Well, the community is really proud of our ongoing relationship with the, especially 20 years that we've really true partners in building the next generation of athletes. There were over 27 tribes, over 1,100 youngsters that participated in such a high level. I was watching games until about almost midnight last night, where our Gila River Bears won 1A championship. So my shouts go out to all the coach Armando Rubalcaba for bringing home that trophy to the community.
And you mentioned 27 different tribes represented over 5 different states. And for many, this is their first time they're leaving the tribal reservation. So what exactly is this hands-on experience like for them?
You know, such a formative experience is very powerful for our youth, especially when you have the best athletes, the best baseball and softball players, those young boys and girls, who are using sports as to develop leadership for the future. So to have these powerful opportunities for them to go off the reservation, to compete against each other, make friendships, that's going to be a lasting impression that I hope really helps them through teamwork and through the leadership that they learned, to help them really chase after their dreams and really make just young men, strong young men and strong young women that they can go back to their Indian tribes and be positive role models.
Well, we wish you guys the best of luck. Thank you so much for joining us. And guys, what an incredible experience and event this has been all week long and for the past 20 years. Thanks, Governor.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, you're right, Kate. It's always a big tournament here in the Valley and always a big parade in the Sunday game here, the Intertribal Youth Baseball and Softball Tournament.
Yeah, over 1,100 athletes, 78 different teams from 6 different states participating.
And then Sunday, as we always do, we have the big trophy presentations. Gila River Indian Community Lieutenant Governor Robert Stone was here throwing out the first pitch. Well, Straley got the first 2 outs here in the 3rd, Dyson and Cook. He's behind on Descalso, 3-1 with Goldie on deck. Second walk of the ball game. Goldie popped up his first time up to shortstop, just got under it a little bit, hit it way up in the rafters. Asked Tori this morning, what's changed for Goldie in your mind, because you've got Goldie here. He's hit safely in 5 straight games, 7 of his last 8, and he said his posture at the plate, which I thought was kind of interesting, which helps lead to a better bat angle, and now he's just not missing pitches that before he might have fouled off or swung and missed at. That slider right there. 0-2.
Yeah, it's not a particularly hard slider. Doesn't really have a lot of left to right movement or right to left in this case, but does have some downward movement as that ball gets into the hitting zone.
He's been leaving it in some bad spots lately. He's been burned for a few home runs off that slider. Just got a piece of that fastball. Dan Straley last season, his first with the Marlins, had career highs in starts and strikeouts. They thought he might be their opening day guy, but the forearm problem crept up at the end of spring training, set him back a month. He's 2-1 in 6 starts. Hit hard to Maybin and right. Straley strands the 2-out walk. Still no score. D-backs and Marlins. Here at Chase Field, get live instruction from actual D-backs coaches when you come to the ballpark. This summer, the World Cup is coming to Fox and FS1. Every match is live. Over 300 hours of coverage. It's the world's biggest sporting event, and it starts June 14th on Fox and FS1. No score as we start the 4th inning. JT Realmuto, the Marlins catcher, leads it off against right-hander Matt Cook. Realmuto has a pair of hits in this series. He doubled Friday. He's hit safely in 9 of his last 10 games. Straight up in the air, Murphy near the Marlins on deck circle has got it, and that's 7 straight set down by Matt Cook. Brings up Justin Bour. Bour hit into a 5-6-3 double play to end the first. That was when the shift was on. Descalso this time does back up at second base. Changeup missed. It's 1-0. Pretty good curveball right there. Didn't get the call from Tom Woodring. We mentioned the small strike zone. Sneaks that cutter in through the back door, and it's 2-1.
Yeah, missed his spot that time, but still threw it in the strike zone. It looked like John Ryan Murphy wanted that pitch down and into Justin Bour instead of straight out over the plate in the strike zone.
Another good job there, keeping that cut fastball down. And now it's 2-2. Brian Anderson, who doubled to lead off the second, is on deck. Fastball up and in on the hands. Matt Cook lost 3 straight starts last month. He pitched poorly in one of them. That was the game here against Milwaukee May 16th when he gave up 4 homers. But in those 3 straight losses, D-backs scored a total of only 3 runs. He's looking for more offensive support today as Bour lines out to center. So that was the funny thing. He pitched pretty well, got no run support at all, and lost 3 starts, but he finally got some offense behind him here Monday. D-backs beat the Reds 12-5, but ironically that one was not particularly effective. Gave up 11 hits, as you mentioned.
It's not always how you pitch, it's when you pitch. If your team puts a 12 spot on the board, you got to like your chances to win a game.
It worked out. You can give up 11 hits when your team's ahead 12-5. First pitch fastballs in there for a strike to Anderson. Anderson in his last 15 games hitting almost .340. 1 for 1 so far today. That curveball down 0-2. That's breaking pitch is funny, Bob. Sometimes it looks like a real curveball. Other times it's kind of slurvy. It'll show up as a slider from time to time. Oh, Tapper to second. Descalso has it. That's 9 straight retired by Matt Cook. No score. Chase Field. A no score, the D-backs and the Marlins. Valley Toyota Dealers presents Let's Go Places. After this one's over, we fly to San Francisco for 3 against the Giants starting tomorrow night. Thursday's an off day. And 3 in Denver over the weekend against the Rockies. That'll be a big series. Zach Godley and Derek Holland tomorrow night at AT&T Park. D-backs live pregame show at 6:30 on Fox Sports Arizona. Jake Lamb leads off the bottom of the 4th against Dan Straley, who has yet to give up a base hit. Jake walked his first time up.
You mean he has a no-hitter going?
Not anymore. You jinxed it.
I know Gracie used to yell out from the booth, hey, this guy's got a no-hitter going.
Michael Wacha, as we mentioned, the Cardinal starter, lost his no-hitter against the Pirates today in the 9th inning. I wonder if Phil Block or somebody in the Pirate booth yelled that out in the ninth. A lot of fans believe we control the outcome of some of these no-hitters just by simply saying what you just said.
We don't.
I tend to doubt it.
I tell people all the time, if it was that easy, we would always throw no-hitters and the other team would never throw no-hitters. That's all it takes, is saying something about it.
Got a change up and Lamb strikes out. Third strikeout for Straley.
Of course, Hawk Harrelson does not adhere to that principle that announcers shouldn't say anything about a no-hitter.
Oh, wasn't it the Mark Burley perfect game where he started going crazy?
Call your neighbors, call your friends, call your kids. Mark Burley's got a no-hitter going.
Well, there were a lot of people that would never have changed the channel or checked their phone or whatever and would have missed it.
I was listening to that game on the radio. I was working in Chicago at the time, and it was an off day for the Cubs. I was driving to a charity golf tournament or coming home from the charity golf tournament, and I was listening to the Hawk on the radio. It was great.
Well, part of the job up here is to report what's happening on the field, and if a no-hitter happens to be happening, you sort of have an obligation to point that out.
Like right now.
Noonan. John Ryan Murphy, if anybody can bust up the no-no, it's John Ryan. He's got a 5-game hitting streak, 4 home runs during that streak.
Boy, he and Goldie back in that first inning both just missed. High pop-ups to shortstop, both guys, and right on the fastball both times.
There's a good example of Tom Woodring not expanding that strike zone. Straley's behind 3-1. Here's another one. This might hit the roof. Out of play. That just missed. Just missed a girder up there.
That one had re-entry burns on it. That was way up there. Nice going, lefty.
Got a, what's he got? A snack and a baseball all in one shot. That's a pretty good day.
Life is good.
David Peralta on deck. 3-2 on John Ryan. Oops, and we lose the baseball. Good slider from Straley that time. He gets his 4th strikeout.
I mentioned doesn't have a lot of right to left movement. Pretty much goes straight down, but he's had good command of that pitch. He's recorded a couple of strikeouts on that slider.
David Peralta flied out in his first at bat today. Change up away. Doubled up with a changeup that time. Asked Torrey this morning, what are you seeing from David Peralta, who's got 3 hits and 4 ribbies in the series? And Torrey said, you know, he's getting pitches down in the zone and he's not missing them. That's his happy zone. Right? Just like that, a fastball down like that.
I think that's a key for just about every hitter in any situation. Swing at good pitches. It's tough enough to hit at the major league level when you're swinging at strikes, but you start expanding your own zone and pitchers are just going to carve you up.
Belts this one to center for Brinson. And he can't get it. It's off the wall. He whiffed in center field and Peralta's at second. They scored a base hit.
Well, Brinson did have a long run from where he was positioned to get back to the warning track that time. Seemed to be in a good place to catch the ball, even though he was on a dead run. Just didn't get the glove in the right spot.
Well, you broke up the no-no. Way to go.
Yeah, we still need some runs here, though. Come on, CO.
Slider misses in 1-0. This is definitely under the coincidence category, not irony, but you may recall June 3rd last year. D-backs were playing the Marlins in Miami. They were no hit by Edinson Volquez. Just broke up the Straley no-no here in the 4th.
I think that one's all on you and Tom Candiotti. I had that series off last year, so my fingerprints are not on that no-hitter.
See, you skip a game and look what happens.
I was yelling at the TV, hey, Volquez got a no-hitter going. Didn't seem to work.
Throws that slider right over the plate. 2-1 on Chris. Hit hard right at Dietrich, and he's there. We head to the 5th, still scoreless. From home, along with all of us here at the ballpark, your chance to win half the pot and help the kids in our community. Get your tickets online during every D-backs home game on Fox Sports Arizona at dbacks.com/50/50 raffle, and the winning number is revealed on the postgame show. Let's see, the pot is over $14,000 already. Derek Dietrich leads off the Marlins 5th. Look out, there's a bat in the seats. Thankfully it hit that net.
He almost threw it over the net.
Yeah, it looked like it was headed that way. And that safety net that a lot of people got upset about when it first came out to start this year comes in handy once again. Man.
Well, I don't know if you could throw it that far if you tried.
It's like the hammer throw in a track and field meet. So it's 0-1 on Dietrich, who grounded out his first time up. Here comes Dyson. Gonna have to play it on a hop, and Dietrich has a base hit. That snaps a stretch of 9 straight retired by Matt Cook. Brings up Cameron Maybin, the right fielder today. Maybin signed with the Marlins just as training camps opened up this spring. He began last year with the Angels. Hit .235, 6 homers, was waived just before September. And of all teams, Houston picked him up. And Maybin hit 4 homers in 21 games for the Astros. Wound up
playing throughout their postseason run. So you end up out of a job at the end of August with the Angels. Suddenly you're in the World Series.
Funny game.
Sure is. You got a World Series ring out of that deal. There's that breaking ball for Matt Cook. 1-1. Cameron Maybin was once the 10th player selected overall in the draft out of high school in Asheville, North Carolina. Tigers took him with a first-round pick back in '05. Good spot for that cutter. 1-2. Maybin broke into the big leagues with Detroit as a 20-year-old back in 2007. And check his swing, bites on the curveball, and Cook gets his 4th strikeout.
Hey fans, the day after every D-backs win, get 50% off all pizzas at regular menu price using promo code DBACKS50 at papajohns.com.
Shortstop Miguel Rojas. Buries that fastball down and in for strike 1.
That's an effective delivery right there by Matt Cook, and a lot of pitchers do that out of the stretch. He held the ball for a long time. It almost looked like he was just going to stand on the mound and wait for the hitter to call timeout, and then quick slide step delivery, steals strike 1.
Well, Matt so far has given up only 3 hits. He's got 4 strikeouts. He's not walked a batter. Another long pause there. High hopper for Descalso. 1-2. Second double play ball rolled by Matt Cook today. He's put up 5 scoreless against the Marlins.
Military by sharing a photo or video with hashtag #HatsOffForHeroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
Back at Chase Field, no score. Home half of the 5th inning. The D-backs and the Marlins. Steve Berthew, Bob Brenly, Kate Longworth with you. Oscar Soria, Rodrigo Lopez underway in their Spanish language broadcast on Fox Sports Arizona Plus. Nick Ahmed leads off the bottom half of the 5th against Dan Straley. D-backs with 14 home runs over the first 5 games of this homestand, but so far just 1 base hit. Peralta with a 2-out double in the 4th. On a ball that was missed by center fielder Lewis Brinson, Ahmed gets it started, a leadoff single in the 5th.
Good to see Nick driving the ball the other way. Got a fastball out there on the outside corner, stays right on it. A huge hole on that right side of the infield, and Nick takes advantage.
So here's Gerard Dyson. Straley at 70 pitches, 45 strikes. He's walked 2, punched out 4. Dyson grounded out his first time up. Anderson will play with his feet on the grass at 3rd. Dyson batting 8th today ahead of the pitcher Matt Cook. That slider miss, 1-0. Dyson has a pair of singles and a walk in the series. His bat has really come around lately. Change up is low, and it's 2-0. Dan Straley, over his first 4 starts in May, gave up a total of only 5 earned runs, and Miami won all 4 of those games. He pitched really well last month, but Straley, in his previous start last Tuesday at San Diego, backslid a bit, 5 runs in 5 2/3, suffered his first loss of the year. Now he's behind on Dyson, 3-0. Caught a seam there with a fastball, 3-1. Fastball miss. First 2 have reached here in the D-backs 5th inning.
Hey, fans, receive 15% off at the Chase Field Team Shop when you use the card by Gila River Casinos. And just a friendly reminder, 204 more shopping days until Christmas.
A lot of great items here at the Team Shop. Got a new t-shirt down there. If you have the Archie Bradley red bringing the beard one, they have an Archie's Army green one down there that looks pretty cool. So 2 on, no outs for the pitcher Matt Cook. Bohr running in from first. Anderson coming in from 3rd. Rojas was sprinting from shortstop to cover the 3rd base bag.
It was an odd looking defensive play there. As you mentioned, Bohr was charging hard. He was only about halfway down the line. Starlin Castro was breaking towards second in a pickoff attempt. Maybe that's a design play by the Marlins, but it sure looked like confusion to me.
You can see the 2 corner infielders kitty cornered. Anderson at 3rd and Bohr at 1st. Rojas near the bag at 2nd.
Well, as a hitter here, you key on the shortstop. If you see Rojas break to 3rd base, that's a sign that the wheel play is on and the 3rd baseman is going to be charging hard. If the shortstop holds his ground out there in the middle of the field, then you should bunt the ball toward 3rd base.
But as you mentioned, what was funny about that is that if it was the wheel play, Castro, instead of going to 1st, was going to 2nd. Fastball's up, 2-0.
And with Bohr charging the way he was, there was nobody to cover 1st base if Matt Cook got the bunt down.
Yeah. Well, Ahmed singled, Dyson walked, and now he's behind on Cook 2-0. Descalso, the on-deck hitter. Here comes Bohr from first again. Missing with fastballs up, and it's 3-0. The pitcher was trying to give himself up, and he walked him on 4 pitches. Juan Nieves, the pitching coach.
Well, you want to talk about cardinal sins in the game of baseball. Walking a batter that's trying to give you an out. There's no excuse for that.
It's not like any of those pitches were even close.
No, and some pitchers do have a little bit of a phobia when they see a batter square around and bunt. Missed wide outside, a couple of pitches up high, and then almost clipped him with the last one. None of them were close.
Nationwide vision, eye on the game. Bases full of D-backs and nobody out for the top of the order, Daniel Descalso. Descalso has struck out and walked 0 for 1. Ahmed's at third, Dyson at second, and the pitcher Cook at first. D-backs 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts and a couple of walks with the bases loaded on this homestand. Boy, he just hung a slider, and Descalso missed it 0-1. Daniel better than a .340 career hitter with the bases full. Straley now at 80 pitches. Kept that slider down, 0-2. Bohr at first. They'll concede the run as Ahmed is home, and it's 1-0 D-backs.
Pulls that ball right down the first baseline to Justin Bohr. He had thoughts about going to second base. Didn't feel comfortable making that throw. Can only get the out at first base as the Diamondbacks take a 1-0 lead.
1 out, second and third now for Goldie. He has popped up and lined out to right. And anytime Goldie hits the ball hard the other way, right or right center, that's a good sign. Fastball missed away, 1-0. Paul has homered 3 times in his last 8 games. Fastball right there. 1-1.
I'm not saying this is the case with Goldie, but sometimes a hitter in this situation will think they're going to try to pitch around me. There's a base open down there. They're not going to give me anything good to hit, and then they throw a fastball right down the middle of the plate.
2-1. Bullpen busy for the Marlins. 85 pitches for Dan Straley, 50 strikes. Sliders in the dirt. He's already walked 2 in the inning, including the pitcher who was trying to sacrifice himself, and he's behind on Goldie 3-1. Adam Conley, the left-hander. Getting ready perhaps for Jake Lamb.
Well, that's the 5th walk in the ball game issued by Dan Straley, the 3rd in this inning. He has walked 3 of the last 4 he's faced. And the batter is Jake Lamb with the bases full and 1 out. Conley, the lefty, warming up in the bullpen for Don Mattingly. You've got Murphy behind him, then another left-hand batter, Peralta, behind John Ryan. No sign yet that Connolly's coming into the game.
I'd be shocked if he doesn't. Why do you get a left-hander up in the bullpen with Jake Lamb lurking behind Goldie? You got David Peralta after John Ryan Murphy. No reason to get him up unless you're going to bring him in right here.
And here he comes. Going to check in with Tom Woodring behind home plate first.
Could possibly see JT Riddle come on to play shortstop, part of a double switch here. See how Don Mattingly plays it.
We'll sort it out in just a moment. D-backs lead it 1-0, threatening more here in the 5th. The 2018 Camping World MLB All-Star Ballot is now open and exclusively online. Make sure your favorite D-backs are represented in this year's team by voting at dbacks.com/vote. And don't forget, you can catch all the excitement of the 89th MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard July 17th live on Fox. Sweep, sweep. Some great signs here today. Grill them fish. I think they're following your keys to the game.
A little bit. Cook the fish.
Well, it is indeed a double switch for Don Mattingly. The left-hander Adam Conley, who made 8 starts this year for AAA New Orleans, is on. Just his 5th appearance of the year for Miami. And the new shortstop, JT Riddle, who bats 9th, replacing Miguel Rojas. Pitcher spot now 7th in the Miami lineup. Jake Lamb has walked and struck out. He's up there with the bases loaded and 1 out. Jake is 3 for 9 versus left-hand pitchers this year. 96-mile-an-hour fastball down and away. Strike 1. All 3 walks in this inning issued by Dan Straley aboard for the D-backs. Dyson at 3rd, Cook at 2nd, Goldie at 1st. Jake Lamb, career with the bases loaded, couple of grand slams. 2 for 3 this year. D-backs have 4 bases loaded hits this season. Lamb has half of them. That one is corralled at third. Anderson coming home. They get 1 and 2. But the D-backs take the lead. It's 1-0 after 5. For the Marlins. What's next brought to you by CenturyLink. A 3-game series in San Francisco. Zach Godley against the Dutch oven, Derek Holland, tomorrow night. The series opener. D-Backs Live pregame show at 6:30. And then Mad Bum makes his 2018 debut coming off the injury against Patrick Corbin Tuesday. There's also a game Wednesday afternoon. And an off day Thursday. 3 in Colorado starting on Friday. By the way, the Dodgers have come back to take the lead on the Rockies. It's now 7-6 LA at Coors Field. They're in the 6th inning. And so is Matt Cook, who starts the 6th against Lewis Brinson. Matt so far has thrown 2 double play balls. He's not walked a batter. He's got 4 strikeouts. He's given up only 3 hits. D-backs had a big opportunity to put up a big crooked number there, but a nice 5-2-3 double play turned by the Marlins keeps it 1-0. And now here's Brinson to start the 6th. Cook has retired 11 of the last 12 batters he's faced. One 0 on Brinson. Riddle, the new shortstop, is on deck. Then Starlin Castro. Matt has been very efficient. 60 pitches, 40 strikes. Swing and a miss by Brinson, who strikes out a lot. Terrific track record as a minor league prospect, former first-round pick out of high school in Florida. He was Milwaukee's minor league player of the year last season. It's that one hard to third. Lamb spins and throws.
Jake, a couple steps to his left, corrals that one, goes down to a knee. Still plenty of time. That's the luxury of having a hard hit ball down there at third base. You have plenty of time to get it across the diamond.
Another ground ball out for Matt Cook, who got a double play ball to win the 5th inning. 1 out in the 6th. Here is J.T. Riddle, 222 and a homer. Riddle has a pair of singles in the series. He's just been called up for the minor leagues for the last week or so. He was hitting
Almost 350 at AAA New Orleans when he got called up. Mentioned this the other day. The Marlins minor league system has some very colorful nicknames. JT Riddle was playing for the New Orleans Baby Cakes. Marlins AA club in the Southern League is the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp.
Making me hungry. I think the Baby Cakes were actually on TV today. I got the morning paper like I always do, and I checked the TV listings, and the Baby Cakes, I don't know what network is on because I knew we couldn't watch it.
Maybe the Food Network.
Yeah, maybe.
Honey, cancel the reservations. The Baby Cakes are on TV. Jumbo Shrimp is the AA team. Their Class A team in the Florida State League is the Jupiter Hammerheads.
Sticking with the aquatic theme, the whole organization. I like that.
Kind of fun.
Is the rookie ball club the Minnows?
I see what you did. They have a low A team in the Sally League. They're the Greensboro Grasshoppers.
Ooh, grasshopper.
For you Kung Fu fans. Snatched the pebble from my hand. 2-2 on JT Riddle. So I don't know what happened in that marketing meeting, but they just went bonkers.
Somebody else going bonkers today. Jake Arrieta, the Phillies, 5 innings, 3 hits, no runs, and hit a homer. They lead 1-0.
He's a good player. Funny you mentioned Arrieta. Well, Clay Buchholz was looking for a job this spring. He'd play catch to keep his arm in shape with his neighbor Jake Arrieta in Texas. That one squirts foul. Arrieta then got what, 60-80 million something for the Phillies. Buchholz got a minor league deal in Kansas City, but he has been worth every penny here as a D-back. Starlin Castro, the leadoff man, on deck. 2-2 on JT Riddle.
I know when I was a kid, we used to play burnout out in the street with your neighbors. Try to throw the ball as hard as you can. Throw some hard enough that the guy can't catch it.
Why is every activity you had as a child based on destruction? Blowing up models, you're trying to kill your neighbor by throwing the ball at him real hard. What's going on there? Swing and a miss.
Coshocton County, that's all.
The rough streets of Coshocton. 5 strikeouts for Matt Cook.
Yeah, my point was I can't see playing burnout with Jake Arrieta.
No,
you're probably going to lose that one.
Yeah, and painfully. Starlin Castro singled the lead off the ball game. He's 1 for 2.
Well, you don't see Starlin Castro take a lot of fastballs. I don't care if it's first pitch, 6th pitch of the at bat. If you throw a fastball, he's likely to let it go. I mean, let the bat go, swing at it.
0-2. Matt Cook working with a 1-0 lead. D-backs have only 2 hits. They've drawn 5 walks in the game, but none of those 5 walks scored. Floats that curveball up there. Castro was an American League All-Star last year with the Yankees. Dealt to the Marlins in December as part of the Giancarlo Stanton trade. Marlins had that great outfield last year. Stanton, Yelich, Ozuna. They traded all of them. Real Muto is really the only guy left. Yelich went to Milwaukee, Stanton to the Yankees, Ozuna to St. Louis as they try to restock the farm system and move some of that Stanton money. Don Mattingly is still here. Matt Cook, good hard down fastball. He's got 6 strikeouts and 6 scoreless innings. It's 1-0 D-backs. Game sweep of the Marlins lead Miami 1-0. Fans, you can catch the D-backs versus the Pirates or the Mets series here at the ballpark on the next homestand with the D-backs value pack. That gets you a game ticket, a hot dog, and a Pepsi, all for only $25. For tickets, visit dbacks.com/value. John Ryan Murphy, the cleanup man, leads off the D-backs 6th inning against left-hander Adam Conley. John Ryan has popped up and struck out. He's 0 for 2. Conley on in relief of Dan Straley. Broken bat roller. Anderson in front of the shortstop. Riddle spins and drops the ball, and Murphy's aboard.
Anderson got to the ball in pretty good shape. Several steps to his left, and then as he spins and tries to make the exchange, he just loses the handle on the baseball right there.
E5 is the scoring decision. The error on Anderson, the third baseman. Here's David Peralta. This has got to be a tricky at bat for the D-backs left-handers against Adam Conley. Conley, a Washington State Cougar, drafted out of Pullman in the 2nd round by the Marlins in the 2011 draft. We've seen him before, Bobby. He's got a little Chris Sale in him, just in terms of the physicality and the delivery from the left-hand side. Bounce to second, Castro, Riddle, and they turn the double play.
If fans of D-backs home run today means a free jumbo jack tomorrow at participating Jack-in-the-Box locations with the purchase of a large drink.
That's the 4th double play in the ball game today. 2 by each team brings up Chris Owens. Tom Mattingly looking for some length out of Adam Conley today. As we mentioned before, he's made 8 starts for AAA New Orleans this year. He's been a starter before for the Marlins. 3-pitch kind of guy. Fastball, slider, changeup. He didn't go, says Will Little on that high fastball, and it's 1-1. That's a pitch right there, a 96-mile-an-hour fastball up that when CO isn't struggling, he usually drives.
And we've seen him foul off a lot of hittable fastballs to the right side of the field. It just says he's not quite on time.
That's going to get out of play.
Well, you look at Conley, and you brought up a good comp. Chris Sale, he looks a little bit like him. Throws the ball a little bit like him with that low 3/4 arm angle. John Hader, another guy that kind of jumps to mind. Doesn't have as much hair as Hader, but
for the Brewers, yeah.
Yeah, hard throwing left-hander with a nearly sidearm delivery at times.
Here's a good look from our Moss cam at what it looks like to face Adam Conley, who gets a double play ball and a strikeout, sends us to the 7th with a 1-0 D-backs lead.
That's a cutter away, big slow curveball away. Another curveball in the dirt low and away. Hard cutter down and into a lefty. Starlin Castro chases a sinking fastball at 92 right in on his knuckles.
Our nationwide vision eye on the game. Matt Cook has been terrific. 6 scoreless innings. He's given up only 3 hits. He's not walked a batter, and he has retired 14 of the last 15 batters he's faced. JT Realmuto will lead off the Miami 7th.
18 outs for Matt Cook in this game. 6 strikeouts we just showed you. 2 fly ball outs and 10 ground ball outs. You love that.
Got 2 double plays turned behind him. Realmuto hits a high fly ball to Chris Owings in right field. Matt Cook's spot is due up 3rd in the bottom half of this inning. Working with a 1-0 lead, here's Justin Bour. Bour lined out hard to center his last time up. Can't afford to make a mistake here to a powerful left-hand batter with a 1-0 lead. Bour 10 career games in this ballpark. He's got 11 RBIs. He's homered here 3 times. Lifts this one to dice it in center. Backing up on the track, and he's got it.
Dyson got fooled by that one just a little bit. Bour took kind of an awkward swing, but hit it a long way out to the warning track just to the left to straightaway center.
2 outs on 3 pitches in the 7th for Matt Cook. Brian Anderson doubled in the 2nd inning. He's 1 for 2. Andrew Chafin starts to get hot in the Sanderson Ford bullpen. We saw Andrew throw 13 pitches in the ball game last night. Matt at 80 pitches, 56 for strikes. He's missed with 2 fastballs here, and he's behind 2-0. Got the left-hand batter Derek Dietrich on deck, the left-hander warming up in the bullpen. Anderson missed a hittable fastball there. 2-1. Well, Cook has retired 16 of the last 17 batters he's faced. The only one that reached was Dietrich, who singled a lead off the 5th and was erased on a double play ball. He's the on deck batter. Cook behind 3-1. Bounce to shortstop. Nick Ahmed. How about Matt Cook? 7 scoreless. He retired 17 to the final 18 he faced. 1-0 D-backs. Trying to close it out the same way. He has been terrific today. Our Chaz Roberts air conditioning and plumbing cool plays of the game. Matt, 7 scoreless innings, gave up only 3 hits. He retired the final 8 he faced and 17 of the last 18 Marlins batters.
Well, we've seen Matt Cook do this before. It shouldn't really be surprising when he's on top of his game and spotting that cutter, curveball, changeup combination. He can work his way through an opposing lineup with relative ease like he did today.
Did not walk a batter, had 6 strikeouts, going over things with his pitching coach Mike Butcher right there. But hoping for a little more offensive support. It's a precarious 1-0 lead. D-backs with only 2 base hits in the ball game. Peralta doubled in the 4th. Ahmed singled and scored to lead off the 5th. And now Nick will get us started here in the home half of the 7th. Adam Conley, the left-hander, back out there for the Marlins. D-backs have already clinched their 2nd straight series win, a chance for their first sweep of the Marlins here at Chase Field since they swept a 4-game set back in 2007. Matt did an excellent job keeping that ball down, especially that cut fastball. We saw that ball down, down, down all day long.
Yeah, showed a nice curveball at times today too. Really had it all working. Threw a couple of nice changeups in the course of the ball game.
Archie Bradley starting to get loose in the bullpen. That's Torey Lovullo managing 101 right there. A lot of one-on-one conversations. Swing and a miss on the changeup, and it's 0-2. It's amazing how often what you're looking at happens with Torey over the course of a given game or day. Might happen during batting practice, in the office, after the ball game.
On the plane rides, occasionally we see Torey head back to the back of the plane.
Conley strikes out Ahmed to start the 7th.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free crunchy beef tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Gerard Dyson has grounded out and walked. Pitcher spot is behind him. And with a left-hander out there, looks like we'll see Devin Marrero come out in the on-deck circle as the pinch hitter. Anderson in on the grass at third. Lays off a hard slider, 1-0. Marlins bullpen busy as well. Drew Steckenrider. He threw 13 pitches in the ball game last night. Fastball missed, and it's 2-0.
You said it an inning or so ago. This cannot be a comfortable at bat for a left-handed hitter. Guy throwing in the upper 90s, low 3/4 arm angle. He's all elbows and kneecaps coming at you. Throws one right under your chin. Ooh.
The D-backs draw their 6th walk of the ball game. None of the previous 5 scored. And Marrero will go back into the dugout. We'll see Ketel Marte. And Ketel Marte has had a tremendous series. It's been a breakout series. He's homered twice, tripled, walked, 3 RBIs. He scored 3 times.
Yeah, we talked about it the other day. I think Ketel Marte has his hands working a lot better in his swing right now. It seemed like for a while there he was really trying to muscle up using his lower body. Much quicker swing on this homestand.
He has hit safely in 4 of his last 5 games. Now batting .224 with 3 home runs. Marte drives it to right center, and it gets down for a base hit. Dyson in at third. They will stop him there. He didn't run through the stop sign that time. Ketel Marte stay hot, a double.
This ball is scalded to the gap out there in right center field. It took a great play by Cameron Maybin out there in right field to cut that ball off and keep Gerard Dyson from scoring. He bobbled it momentarily. But that would have been an extremely dangerous send that time. I think Tony Perez-Chica did the right thing by holding him at third base.
That's Ketel Marte's 4th extra base hit in this series. So now you've got 2nd and 3rd, 1 out for Descalso, who knocked in the only run of the game so far with an RBI ground out in the 5th. Tom Woodring giving JT Realmuto a chance to fix his catcher's mask. Descalso with 7 homers, 2 of those coming off left-handers. Infield is in for the Marlins. Good spot for the fastball, 1-1. Daniels hit safely in 5 straight games. He's tripled and homered twice in his last 5. Two and 1. Dyson at third, Marte at second. Infield in for Miami. Another fastball missed away, and it's 3-1. You got Goldie on deck. And the right-hander Steckenrider warming up in the Marlin bullpen. Deep to center. Brinson is under the home run punch, and he missed it. Dyson is home, Marte right behind, and Descalso headed for third. 3-0 D-backs. Brinson has whiffed on 2 of those today in dead center. It happened on the Peralta double in the 4th. And that one cost Don Mattingly a couple of runs.
And ball smoked to center field. Brinson looked like he gets to the spot in pretty good shape. Just misjudged it, tried to leap at the last instant, gets over his head. Man, oh man. Part of the job requirements of an outfielder is to catch fly balls when they're hit in your vicinity. Lewis Brinson having a rough day.
Back after this, 3-0 D-backs. That sacrifice E8 for Descalso. 1 RBI. He's at third. 1 out. 3-0. And Drew Steckenrider on to face Goldie. Fastball is fouled back. That one right down the middle. So Dyson and Marte score. Sac E8. 1 RBI for Daniel, who's at third. Goldie pokes that one foul, and it's 0-2. Well, that's the way things have gone for Don Mattingly this year. His club has lost 5 straight, 18 games under 500, and last in the NL East. On the ground right to second. Castro coming home, and they get to Descalso at the plate.
Now the contact play, you're hoping that that infielder will make an errant throw to the plate, maybe bounce one to the catcher, somehow find a way to get Descalso on that plate. But unfortunately, Starlin Castro makes a good throw to home. Ooh, I don't know. Tag up on the chest of Daniel Descalso as he was reaching out with the left hand.
No challenge from the D-backs. Goldie at first, 2 down now. Here's Jake Lamb. He has walked, struck out, and hit into a double play. Shift is on for the Marlins. Castro way out there in right field. Two and 0. D-backs have a 3-0 lead. Each team with 3 hits.
D-backs' best chance to break the game open came with Lamb up, 1 out in the 5th inning, bases loaded. And he hit into a 5-2-3 double play to end the inning. John Ryan Murphy would be next. Archie Bradley still warming up and ready in the D-back bullpen. Fastball missed, and Steckenrider walks Lamb. This gives John Ryan Murphy a chance. That's the 7th walk drawn by D-backs hitters today. Murphy 0 for 3. Goldie at second and Lamb at first. 2 outs and 2 runs in. Got a first pitch fastball and fouled it off. John Ryan with a 5-game hitting streak. He has homered in 3 straight games and 5 of his last 7. In the air, Maybin in right field. D-backs able to tack on 2. Time to bring in the beard. It's 3-0 as we head to the 8th. Going for the sweep at Chase. Nothing. The D-backs and Geico are proud to offer military and first responders ticket discounts all season long. Active and retired service members can enjoy up to 50% at select locations for every game this year. For more info, we encourage you to visit dbacks.com/military. Good to have some of our servicemen and women here with us today. 3-0 in the 8th. Time to bring in the beard. Here is Archie Bradley. Archie came on to get the final out of the 8th inning last night through just 2 pitches. His 28th appearance this year. Ketel Marte remains in the game. Takes over at second base for Daniel Descalso. Marte bats 9th pitcher spot, now the leadoff spot for the D-backs. Here's Derek Dietrich, who singled his last time up. First pitch curveball from Archie is strike 1.
D-backs began today 3 over 500, a half game ahead of Colorado atop the National League West. Looking for the sweep. It's been a wild one in Denver today. The Dodgers had a big lead, but the Rockies have come back now 7-7. 8th inning at Coors Field. Dietrich punches this one the other way. Peralta. Oh, what a catch. He caught it in fair territory. The freight train, a sliding grab in the left field corner.
He looked like a runaway freight train on that one. Full speed as he makes that sprint over there toward the third base line. Nice catch in fair territory and goes sliding into foul territory. Nicely done, David.
Applause, applause. One down for Cameron Maybin. Maybin is grounded out, struck out, 0 for 2. Another first pitch curveball from Archie. Center field, Gerard Dyson calling off Owings. Now with a pitcher spot due up for the Marlins, we'll see J.B. Shuck, left-hand batter off the bench for Don Mattingly. Shuck hitting for Steckenrider. Shuck was in center field in the ball game last night. He is hitless in the series. That just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Shuck hitting for Steckenrider.
I'm glad you said it.
Teheran Guerrero, the right-hander, getting ready in the Marlins bullpen. Shuck is 3 for 21 as a pinch hitter this year. He's ahead 2-0. Archie Bradley on in relief of Matt Cook, who was terrific here today. 7 scoreless innings. Brinson would be next.
I think sometimes Archie just gets a little ahead of himself. 2 quick outs in the inning. He wanted to finish it off and was just raring back and firing right there to J.B. Shuck and missed wide 4 times.
So here's Brinson 0 for 2. That's often why Torrey doesn't necessarily love the idea of putting Archie in a game, getting the final out of the inning, and then bringing him back out there, because when he comes out the first time, the energy level is through the roof. And you don't want to see that have to go up and down over the course of one outing. Like him to get up there and stay up there. Hand it off to the next guy, 0-1. Jerry Nairn, the bench coach in the middle there. Mike Butcher, the pitching coach on the right. This is trouble, headed for right center. It's in the pool. A break for the D-backs as Shuck will have to stop at third base. Well, Brinson, who homered in the 9th inning last night, comes up with a ground rule double in the 8th here today.
That's a big time break for the Diamondbacks, because not only was Shuck going to score on that ball if it hits the fence and stays in play, but there's a good chance Brinson ends up at third base. Just snuck over that fence out there into the Ram Trucks pool area.
Well, now the Marlins, with 2 outs in the 8th inning, will get the tying run to the plate. It's the shortstop JT Riddle. Riddle has a pair of singles in this series, hitting .214 on the year. Shuck is at third. Brinson is at second. 2 outs. Another first pitch curveball. That one misses low. Marlins have now out-hit the D-backs 4-3. .98 miles an hour from Archie off the plate, but Tom Woodring gives it to him, and it's 1-1. Here's a look from our Moss cam. Another hard fastball at 97, and Archie's ahead 1-2. Another big crowd here today, nearly 26,000. More than 91,000 in here this weekend for this 3-game set against the Marlins. Great job by D-backs fans. Riddle waves at that one. Bradley strands 2. It stays 3-0.
We hope that Matt Cook would have himself a game.
He certainly did. Right in line. Clay Buchholz, Zach Greinke, now Matt Cook. He did himself very proudly today.
And I know that you're going to talk about, when we get to Diamondbacks Live, the post-game show, the top of the 7th inning. But we have to get there first. So, Steve and Bob,
that was the game.
Yeah, it was. We hope.
Interesting call. Look forward to that, Gracie and Todd. Thanks, guys. Tehran Guerrero is on to work the bottom of the 8th inning. David Peralta, Chris Owings, Nick Ahmed due up for the D-backs, 5, 6, and 7. Cameron Maybin slides over from right field to center, replacing Lewis Brinson. J.B. Shuck stays in the game, takes over in right field. So Brinson comes out of the ball game. Pitcher spot now 8th for the Marlins. Peralta doubled in the 4th, 1 for 3. It's this one deep to left field. That ball is gone. David Peralta has done it again. He has homered in every game in this series, and it's 4-0 D-backs.
That appeared to be one of those fence-high fastballs that hitting coaches talk about. A guy supplies all the velocity out there on the mound. You just have to barrel it up. First pitch fastball fouled away, comes right back with another one, even a little bit higher than the first one, and David barrels it up to left field, hits it out of here.
Something Torey Lovello told us he's liking what he's seeing before the game today. Peralta letting that ball travel a little bit deeper and then firing on it. That's what he did right there. Let it travel deep, hit it the other way for a jumbo jack. Free jumbo jack tomorrow at Jack in the Box with the purchase of a large drink. The first time in Peralta's career he's homered in 3 straight games. Here's Chris Owings. 100 miles an hour from Guerrero there, and it's 2-0 for CO, who's 0 for 3. Big weekend for David Peralta. 5 hits and 5 RBIs in the series. The freight train's got it rolling. Jake Barrett starts to get loose in the Sanderson Ford bullpen. Brad Boxberger is ready back there. No longer a save situation. Fastball misses up. Guerrero's all over the place. A home run and a walk. That'll bring up Nick Ahmed. That's the 8th walk. 8 walks for D-backs batters today. That brings Juan Nieves out there. Of the previous 7, remarkably only 1 is scored.
That is remarkable.
D-backs still have only 4 hits in the game, but they've left 7. They've hit into a couple of double plays, 1 with the bases full. Archie Bradley stranded 2 to get out of the top half of this inning. D-backs have tacked on another run here in the home half. Nick Singleton scored to lead off the 5th. Came home on a Descalso groundout. Daniel has a couple of RBIs here today. Fights off this one the other way. Here comes Shuck. And he can't get it. Owings had to hold up just to make sure, and Ahmed's aboard at first.
I'm not crazy into the new analytics, but I'm pretty sure that the Marlins outfield would not grade out well on any capacity.
Now, what makes
today.
you say that?
Oh, man. Another ball that hits the glove and drops. Lewis Brinson missed a couple in center field today. Eek.
Gerard Dyson. Owings at second, Ahmed at first, still nobody out. And a run in on the Peralta homer. They scored that a base hit, by the way, for Nick Ahmed. So Nick is 2 for 4. 2-0 on Dyson. He's walked twice and scored a run. Fastball at 98's a strike, 2-1. D-backs with the Peralta home run have now hit 15 homers in 6 games on this homestand. 3 balls and 1 strike. Marte on deck. Hard to center. Maybin is there. Oh, he hit that right on the barrel. Dyson's really squaring it up lately. He's hitting the ball hard. Ketel Marte, everything's an extra base hit for Marte. A pinch hit double. He scored a run in the 7th.
Marte's last 4 hits over the course of this weekend. Double, triple, homer, homer.
How are we looking?
There go the runners. Not even a throw. Double steal, Owings and Ahmed.
It looked like Chris Owings wanted to do that while Dyson was at the plate, but with nobody out in the inning, you don't want to risk getting thrown out at third base. But with one out in the inning, they couldn't wait to run.
Guerrero was paying no attention at all. Infield comes in for Miami now. That's out of play. 1-1. 100 miles an hour from Tehran Guerrero. Well, counting today, Ketel Marte's now hit safely in 5 of his last 6 games. And over that span, he's got 6 extra base hits and 6 runs batted in. Alex Avila in the on-deck circle. Pitcher spot is up next. That one gets behind Real Muto. Here comes CO. And there's your taco run. It's been a taco homestand here against the Marlins.
Yeah, we had to knock the dust off the sign when we got home from the road trip, but we've had it out almost every day since then. We're wearing this thing out. June 3rd, and the Diamondbacks have had tacos every day this month.
Which is good because we're on a tacos only diet. It's really paying off. Skip Miller's on that one. Oh, Skip is down in left field. But he held on to the ball. What a play by Skip Miller.
Hey, baby.
Watch this one. Oh!
Way to stay with it. Yeah.
Nicely done. Skip Miller, our man down the left field line today. Chris Marino's in right. Must have been watching David Peralta over there. That's another one that rolls away from Real Muto. Ahmed stays put at third.
You know, obviously hoping for something here from Ketel Marte to chase Nick Ahmed home from third base. But how about this? I did not realize this. Ketel Marte, 212 total chances at second and short, middle infield position.
Right.
No errors.
He's silky smooth.
Carlos Correa has as many infield chances without an error. He's just over 200 chances. But Marte at 212 total chances at second and short, no errors.
Here's the 3-2 pitch. Base hit. Ahmed is home. Marte digging for second. It rolls to the wall. It gets behind Dietrich, and he's headed for third. He's in there. Ketel Marte, what a show he's put on here this weekend. What is going on in that Marlins outfield today?
Boy, tough to figure. He gets a fastball up and out over the plate and rips it through that left side of the infield. We saw Brinson struggle in center, J.B. Shuck struggling in right, and now Derek Dietrich in left field. Has his own issues. You get the feeling Ketel Marte feels every time he puts the ball in play, he should end up at third base.
You know why? Because he does. Waiting for a scoring decision. I assume that's his second triple in the series. Avila hitting for the pitcher. Marlins have 3 defenders all in on the grass on the first base side of the infield. Anderson near the bag at third. Alex singled as a pinch hitter Wednesday here against Cincinnati. D-backs with 2 in the 7th and 3 more in here in the 8th.
Fastball at 98 is there, 1-1. Going to take a wild guess and say we won't see Brad Boxberger in the 9th inning. Jake Barrett is ready in the D-back bullpen. 1-1 on Alex Avila. Got the slider, 1-2. There's Boxberger. He's cooling down.
And this is going to work out well in my estimation. Get Jake Barrett out there on the mound quickly. He's going to be an important part of that bullpen moving forward, and the sooner you can get him involved in the action, the better.
Pitching staff continues to get healthier. A lot of good news on that front. Shelby Miller will make his second affiliated start tomorrow for AA Jackson. Goldie on deck. Randall Delgado, who's on his way back, will throw an inning for Visalia. I think that's going to be Tuesday. And Robbie Ray has another bullpen session on the mound tomorrow as he comes back from the oblique. Avila got a 100-mile-an-hour fastball and strikes out.
He threw one 101 earlier in the at bat. That one had 100 up at the top of the strike zone. Really tough to catch up to that one.
Goldie will be the hitter. Don Mattingly to the mound. D-backs have tacked on 3 more for a 6-0 lead as they go for the sweep. Field was 2007. They're on their way to another one, leading 6-0 in the bottom of the 8th inning. And on from the Miami bullpen, the right-hander just called up from AAA New Orleans today, Drew Rachinski. He'll face Goldie with Marte at third.
His numbers in AAA New Orleans: 14 appearances, an ERA just over 2.5 in 25 innings of work, 21 punch-outs against 6 walks. Did not allow a homer in his 14 appearances at AAA.
With the baby cakes. Goldie 0 for 3 with a walk. Goldie's got a 5-game hit streak on the line. Marte, an RBI triple, stands at third. Skies it to short right for Shuck. 3 more D-back runs. Peralta got it started, an opposite field home run. 3 straight games with a homer for the freight train. Another extra base hit for Ketel Marte. 6th inning in the 9th. Native American Recognition Day here at the ballpark. D-backs looking for a 3-game sweep of the Miami Marlins. They lead at 6-0 and on to work the 9th inning. The right-hander Jake Barrett, who was outstanding with Reno this year, a 1.71 ERA, 30 strikeouts in 21 innings. Starlin Castro, the leadoff man, leads off the Marlins 9th. We saw Jake once earlier this year and he looked tremendous. Good hard fastball, filthy slider. D-backs, if they can hang on here, will get to 4 games over 500 at 31-27. And the Dodgers have just taken a lead at Colorado. It's 8-7 LA. They're in the 9th inning. And if that score holds, the D-backs will have a 1.5-game lead over the Rockies atop the NL West. Make it 10-7. The Dodgers keep tacking on some runs against that Rocky bullpen. We're off to San Francisco after this one. Giants won at home today. They beat the Phillies 6-1. 3-0 on Starlin Castro. Ball 4, leadoff walk.
Which I'm sure D-backs fans are well aware. Jake Barrett, a local product, a 2009 graduate of Desert Ridge High School in Mesa, also went to Arizona State University, and here's our state champions this year. Congratulations to the softball and baseball champions in all the categories.
And of course, we had all our participants in our D-backs Intertribal Youth and Baseball Softball Tournament here before the game today. JT Realmuto, the catcher, 0 for 3. Slider upstairs, gets the strike call, 0-1. Slider down, and it's 0-2. Boy, that was a beautiful slider right there. Didn't get the call that time from Tom Woodring. A ball and 2 strikes.
And one of the rare times John Ryan Murphy didn't make that pitch look real good. It was right on the corner, but it was a slider that was kind of backing up and breaking down. Just had to get some glove on it. Kind of pushed it out of the zone just a little bit.
Been a terrific offensive series for the D-backs here, this homestand, in fact. Diamondbacks, before this homestand started, we all know what they went through. 3-15 in their previous 18 games. They scored 42 runs in those 18 games. They've scored 42 runs here in 6 against the Reds and the Marlins. In this homestand, 3 against Cincinnati, 3 against Miami. 51 hits, 15 homers, 3 triples, 6 doubles. All by Ketel Marte, which is a little odd. Lamb, there's 1, and that's all they'll get.
And a lot of people might be saying, well, it was the Reds and the Marlins, for crying out loud, the 2 worst records in the National League. But this is what you're supposed to do to those teams.
Get healthy.
Yeah, get healthy. Don't let them up. Put your foot on their neck and grind it out for 3 games and take as many hits and runs as you can possibly get, because you know when you start facing the better teams, you're going to have to play for every run.
Justin Bour, 0 for 3. Thought Gracie made a terrific point on the pregame show. If you were to lose this game today, you'd still feel good. You won both series. You beat the Reds, you beat the Marlins. Take 2 or 3 from Miami. Okay, check the box and move on. But now you go into San Francisco. You're tap dancing, boy. You're feeling real good coming off a sweep. The goal is always to win the series, but this you'll have that little extra happy feeling on the flight today.
Yeah, get a little greedy after you win the second game of a series.
It's going to be loud back there. Hope you brought your headphones.
I've got them.
Noise canceling. Card games are going to get loud. The music can get a little louder on that flight. I don't think they should make Matt Cook carry around the giant boombox like they've been doing based on the way Matt pitched today. Matt, because he's a rookie, has had on all the flights carry a boombox over his shoulder, basically the size of one of those old ocean liner trunks. And it's a sight to see him carry that thing around on the flights. But the way he pitched today, he deserves a reprieve. 1-2 on Bohr. Matt Cook 7 scoreless. He retired the final 8 batters he faced in the ball game and 17 of the last 18.
Look what I got you, honey.
I don't think she wants it.
Big deal.
Still 1-2. So the Marlins, their 10-game road trip slogs on. They dropped 3 of 4 in San Diego. On the verge of getting swept here, they finish up with 3 games in St. Louis. Cardinals beat the Pirates at Busch Stadium today 5-0. Michael Wacha lost a no-hitter in the 9th inning. Colin Moran's single broke it up. Bohr gets into one deep to center. And that one is off the wall. Here comes Real Muto around. Bohr's got an RBI double.
All fastballs that at bat until the last delivery. Tried to sneak a slider in there, left it up in the zone, and Bohr just crushed it to straightaway center field. And Gerard Dyson got a little too close to the fence that time. The ball caromed past him, allowing Real Muto to come around and score from first base.
So a 6-1 ball game now. And here's the third baseman, Brian Anderson, who is 1 for 3. He doubled in the second. Gracie and Todd Walsh standing by. D-backs live post-game show after the ball game. D-backs looking to get 4 games over 500 and a game and a half ahead of Colorado atop the National League West. 0-2. Zach Godley and Derek Holland tomorrow at AT&T Park, 1-3 against the Giants. We'll have the D-back live pregame show for you at 6:30 on Fox Sports Arizona. And then Tuesday night we see Patrick Corbin against Madison Bumgarner, who comes off the DL to make his 2018 debut. Clay Buchholz and Chris Stratton Wednesday. Thursday's an off day. 3 at Colorado starting Friday. Giants 6-1 winners over the Phillies today. That Dodger Rocky game is now bottom 9 at Coors. It's 10-7 Los Angeles. Long run for CO. Oh, he got it. Chris Owings, a terrific diving catch out there in right field.
Boy, for people that doubt defensive runs saved, what we've seen from David Peralta in left field and now Chris Owings in right compared to what we've seen from the Marlins outfield. Look at the difference.
Night and day.
Oh, night and day.
Tom Mattingly is having them check the review. And they're going to challenge that.
Yeah, it looked like CO had the ball trapped in the heel of his glove, and if his glove was face down, so maybe Mattingly is going to argue that that ball did hit the ground, even though it looked like CO had control of it the entire time.
Well, if you're Mattingly at this point, you've got nothing to lose. Trying to keep this rally going. Let's see. Oh, yeah.
CO squeezing that glove as tightly as he can to hold that ball in there.
Now the ball kind of disappears into the glove as he squeezes it. You have to have definitive proof that it hit the ground. And because the ball is in the glove, it's not like you can look at 17 different angles. There's only going to be one, maybe two, that show you definitively from the right angle.
This will be interesting. Like I said, I don't think Chris Owings ever lost control of the ball, but you can clearly see it was snow coned out the bottom of his mitt that time.
Now this is great work by our crew here. Going over to the still photographers in the camera well. Ted Barrett, the crew chief, on the right there, waiting for word from New York.
If you can't tell by now, for me, the play has to stand. I mean, if you've looked at a number of replays already and can't determine whether that ball slipped out of his glove or not, for me, it's got to stand.
I'm with you. This is like LeBron James on the blocking call the other day. You look at anything long enough, you can talk yourself into anything.
They're getting a busy signal back to New York.
Your call is very important to us. Please hold.
While you're waiting, please enjoy the best of air supply.
See, this is where I'd rather get the call wrong than sit through this. Well, I think the problem is, Bob, like we mentioned a moment ago, it's not like you can look at a whole bunch of different angles because there's a ball inside the mitt. And now fans here get a little antsy.
Well, while we're waiting, I've got another This Day in Baseball history for you. 1939, catcher Joe Sprins fractured his upper jaw in 12 places and had 5 teeth knocked out, attempting to catch a ball dropped 800 feet from the Goodyear blimp.
That was a big thing back in the day. You had guys catching balls from the Washington Monument, and it's ruled a base hit. Wow. So the call gets overturned.
Like you said, if you look long enough, you can find something. Well, what a great effort by Chris Owings, though. Had to close ground quickly as that ball was dying in shallow right field. Man, that's too bad.
Well, Bohr had to hold up, so he's still at second base. Anderson's at first now, and Dietrich pops this one up shallow left center. Peralta will call off Ahmed. Cameron Maybin, last man standing as the D-backs go for the 3-game sweep. Great crowd here today, nearly 32,000. Almost 92,000 in here for this 3-game series over the weekend.
Now a final at Coors Field. Rockies lose to the Dodgers 10-7. Colorado's lost 4 in a row. And with a win, the D-backs will move a game and a half ahead of the Rockies atop the National League West. 2-0 on Cameron Maybin. Good slider from Barrett, kept it down, and he's a strike away. Ball game. The D-backs close out the sweep. They go 5-1 on the homestand. Take a game and a half lead atop the National League West. Another home run. That's 15 homers during this 6-game homestand.
Might not be as easy to hit home runs at AT Park, but certainly in Colorado you can expect to see some long balls off the bats of the Diamondbacks. What a great homestand.
Mark Grace and Todd Wall standing by. D-backs Live post-game show is next as the D-backs close out the sweep.